Right. Now, just click on that browser extension and just see over here. If I click this option which says clear form fields, it gives me a null input. Now, if I just submit it over here, it gives me the SQL injection error. What is up guys, this is Dhruvajuti and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be looking at a browser extension that is a must-have if you are into cybersecurity and ethical hacking. This browser extension basically allows you to change the freedom that you are curtailed, or rather make changes to the form fields in a website. Let's say for example you have a form field in which you can only select uh, within a certain range of values. For example, let's say 1 to 5 or something, then you can use this browser extension to remove that limitation and then pretty much enter whatever you want. So let's take a look at it. So the name of the extension is known as Web Developer, and it's pretty much used by web developers to test vulnerabilities in their website, but you can use it as an ethical hacker as well. So just go on to this particular link if you are using Firefox and install this Web Developer extension. And it's also available for Chrome, so you can download it for Chrome if you want. Next, you need to just simply install the extension onto your browser as you do it for any other browsers as well. And once it installs, it will appear over here. This is the kind of interface you get to see with this particular extension. Now once that particular extension has been installed in your browser, now you need to, I'll show you how you can actually use that particular browser extension. So I'm presently using this VPLE. This is a lab environment. You can simply find it on Vulnhub. If you want, you can download it and install it and practice hacking, especially web application. And let's just open up DVWA, which is 1335 in this case. Now once in DVWA, I'll log in, which is admin, not the password is password. So if I enter over here, now in the security section, I'm setting it to low, and let's go on to SQL injection. Now over here you can see that the input field allows me to input whatever I want. So I can pretty much input whatever I want, which is like I have inputted some gibberish characters over here. So if I click submit, it doesn't give me any result. If I put in a semicolon, this will show me that the application is actually vulnerable. Now if I go back and go to DVWA security and set this to medium and click on submit, now if I go on to SQL injection, now you can see over here my input has become limited. I can only select from 1 to 5. I can only select from the values over here. Now obviously you can change the kind of input over here using a proxy such as Burp Suite, but we are going to be using this browser extension. Sometimes it becomes a tiresome process to set up Burp Suite and configure all the proxy and everything. So in this case we are just going to be doing it by a simple click of a button. So over here you can see my user ID is set to 1 by default. If I click submit, it gives me the result of the first user, which is whose first name is admin and the surname is also admin. And if I click on 2, it gives me Gordon and Brown. And if the last user is, I think, Hack or Bob Smith. Right, now just click on that browser extension and just see over here. If I click this option which says clear form fields, it gives me a null input. Now if I just submit it over here, it gives me the SQL injection error. So this pretty much confirms that this particular application is vulnerable to SQL injection. The second thing we can do is we can pretty much change this form field. Now it's only a selection field in which I am able to only select from a certain limited amount of values. I can actually change it to allow me to input whatever I want. For that I need to select this option which says convert selected elements to text inputs. If I select this, now you can see that the input field has changed. Now I can put in whatever I want. If I click on submit, and it says this too confirms that this particular application is vulnerable to SQL injection, because it says that there is some problem in the where clause. If you know SQL, then you should know how SQL commands are structured. Where is part of a SQL command, I should say. And now I can put in over here, like if I put in a semicolon, a single quotes rather, and click submit. Over here you can see that I pretty much get the infamous SQL error, which typically confirms that this application is vulnerable to SQL injection. Now this is not the only thing that you can do with this. Like for example, if I click over here and uncheck all checkboxes, this does not have any checkboxes, and I can pretty much do anything I want. Like for example, if I can mess around with the cookies as well. Like if I simply select view cookie information, you can see over here I can see a lot of cookie information. Like whenever you visit a website and let's say you're maintaining a session on that website, which means you are logged in that particular website, your browser receives a certain cookie. So that cookie helps the web server to determine whether you are actually logged in or not. So in this case, I am actually logged in, and whenever I am visiting the website again and again, I'm clicking on different links and everything, the browser actually sends those cookie information to the website, which actually tells the website that yes, this is the particular user. Otherwise we would have to input our username and password again and again for each and every link on the website that we wanted to visit. But in this case, because of the cookies, we don't have to input input our username and password each and every time we click on a link. So as you could see over there, could view the cookies as well. You can see over here. Now selectively we can delete or maybe do some editing on the cookies. Like for example, this is the value. Now this particular field over here, which says PHP session ID, confirms that this particular application is using PHP, and you can actually mess around with the values. Like sometimes you may hear that someone's Facebook account got hacked. So this is the actual way that hackers actually compromise Facebook account. They capture the cookies, or these cookies are actually saved into your computer. So if a hacker gets access to your computer, he can simply access the cookies and maybe use those cookies to log into your Facebook account or some other account on his browser, on the hacker's browser. Let's cancel this one for now. Let's see if we can do something else. Like for example, I go on to DBWA security, set this to over here, convert text inputs to text areas. Like we have a text input over here. Now this particular text input area is, if you simply type something, you can see over here that if this was a text area, then you could have easily seen the entire text. So convert this to text area. So now this becomes a little bit bigger. If I type in here something like, let's say for example, name, this text area is quite big, and the entire input can be seen. Remove form validation. So this is a very interesting one, but this particular form does not have any type of validation. So form validation is a type of security mechanism some websites implement, and in that basically the website locally checks whether the type of input you are giving is actually what they want. Like for example, let's say you have an input field which only accepts numbers, so you should be entering numbers. If you are typing, let's say ABCD, then the website actually stops you. Like if you just keep on pressing ABCD, it just doesn't input over there. but once you start typing numbers, you'll see the input coming in. So that's a kind of form validation, I should say. And if that kind of a validation exists, then you can remove that using this option. Let's see if it actually has in the high section. Should have, I think. See if it has. Can I input something? Okay, so the high section actually changes the website total. Click on submit. Session ID 5. Let me just wait. So this does not have any form validation, but the example I gave you, that's the actual form validation thing that happens on some website. Right, so that's it for this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.